I was walking my dog, Vivi, and then I heard this question. What would April look like if April was a monster? And I thought, is this creativity? Is this inspiration? Because like you're giving me nothing. This is not an idea for an illustration. This is just a question. And at first this creative process went like every other time that I was like, no, like this is giving me nothing. I can't do that. But at the same time, here we are, I guess, and I'm doing April as a monster. When I start out blocking an illustration like this without any line art, it doesn't mean that there's not going to be any drawing in that illustration. It's just my way of piecing together what elements are going to be in my picture. I also need to know what kind of main areas I'm going to be having for color. That helps me see if there are enough solid elements to balance in the composition. So this is mostly about the bigger shapes that are going to be forming the visual impact of this piece. If you feel like it's better to start an illustration with a sketch, then please do that first. I'm not trying to tell you to start all of your art this way. I have found that it's much better to think of your workflow as something that is not set in stone. At least mine is always changing depending on what I'm working on. And in this case, I thought that I'm only going to be needing colors. I'm not going to be needing any line art at all. But at this point, I just felt so lost that I thought that I need to have some solid boundaries for this painting, because that is going to help me structure what I'm working on from this point onwards. So here I decided that, okay, let's just do line art and see what we have here. And when I started drawing, all of these new ideas started coming to me. For some reason, just switching techniques can do this to an illustration. So instead of this April monster holding its little hands or paws together, I thought that it would make sense if April is holding a cloud. Because at least here in Finland, we have these Aprils that go from these very warm, almost summery spring days into a full blizzard that you feel like winter is just starting at full force. And this can go back and forth many times during a week, so you don't really know if it's gonna get warmer or if it's going to be a full blizzard the next day. And this is not great for me, because I'm the type of person who strongly believes that you should dress for the type of weather that you want to have, not the kind of weather that you actually have. This kind of unpredictability gave me an idea what kind of a personality April might be like as a monster. So maybe April likes attention a lot, because think about it. April starts with April 1st, which is April Fool's Day, and April Fool's Day is perfect for somebody who needs a little bit more attention than a normal person. I think that is perfectly understandable for April, because there aren't that many big events happening during April. We have Easter and April Fool's Day. That's pretty much it. Maybe weather can be one way for April to be like, hey, notice me, I'm here. Can you see? It's now full blizzard, now it's sunny. Notice me, there's something special happening at this time of the year. So maybe April is kind of lonely because it's not as noticed as the other months of the year, but at the same time, this can maybe lead April to behave in ways that are not that pleasant for everybody on planet Earth. So for that reason, I gave April this small cloud that is raining snow, and it's shaking it all around and kind of making everybody notice that sometimes it's a full blizzard and sometimes it's nice and warm. I also gave April these horns that are almost like small trees that have these small green sprouts coming. So summer is almost coming, but it's tiny little small bits of green. And at the bottom half, instead of pants, I made this area of snow that is covering the bottom half of April. So that kind of shows this transition between winter and spring. To represent Easter, I added these eggs and these colorful feathers that are part of this Finnish tradition where children go from door to door and they get candy. It's pretty much like Halloween, except that it's not scary, which is like the better Halloween if you ask me. So that's Easter, and also part of Easter is these yellow chicks. And for some reason, I made these little chicks massive. I know that they are like monster sized, but at this point, I had gone through the same thing again and again, multiple times, that I would have a crazy idea and then my fears kind of shoot down those ideas. Like, no, that is too crazy. It doesn't fit in this illustration. But at the same time, I noticed myself saying that to me. And I think you need to keep asking yourself that, are you being self-critical, or are you trying to censor yourself out of all of the things that could be fun in an illustration? And in this case, I found that I was trying to kind of censor myself and this sort of like crazy way that I tend to see things, and I decided that I'm going to give myself permission to go with all of the crazy that this illustration needs, because I'm making April as a monster already, so honestly, what's the point of trying to make it realistic? I think if I'm being serious for a second, maybe it's my fears or my ego that kind of always defaults to this more detailed and more highly rendered style, because it thinks that it's going to be more impressive to other people that see this illustration. But we have gone past the point of realism anyway, so might as well say yes to all the cool and fun ideas that imagination and creativity bring my way. And honestly, I'm enjoying it more. So, massive chicks. That's the thing that we are seeing here. Since spring isn't fully here yet, that's why one of those hills is sleeping, because I think that the whole world is kind of having a nap before all the grass and flowers and trees start coming alive. So until then, it's still having a nice bit of sleep. When I first started doing this illustration, I really didn't know what the end result would be, because I didn't even have an idea. I just had this question, what would April look like as a monster? And now, after having these few elements, the story kind of started coming together and it fully formed this personality of April and what the appearance of April is. So I'm pretty happy that I got to meet this monster through this process, and if you want to see more friends for April, leave this video a like and I might consider making more illustrations of other months. I think April needs friends, they deserve it. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next video, hopefully with something more sane. I guess, I don't know, this was so random. Bye!